that controversial immigration bill, which has set off a fiery debate in Arizona and around the land. Mike Von Frem joins us now with details.
On the streets, there was anger. Riot police were called in to try to control demonstrators protesting outside the Capitol. Most were peaceful. A handful threw bottles at police and were arrested. Inside the Capitol building, Arizona Governor Jan Brewer defiantly signed the most sweeping anti-immigration law in the nation.
With my unwavering signature on this legislation, Arizona strengthens its security within our borders.
Arizona has the most illegal border crossings in the United States, and the new law here requires local police to stop and demand proof of citizenship from anyone suspected of being an illegal immigrant.
There's a lot of people that are going to be split up by it, and for them to act like this, it's like they don't care about their fellow neighbors.
Today begins the end.
Opponents, some coming from as far away as Los Angeles, say it's a recipe for racial profiling and leaves Hispanics afraid to report crime. President Obama blasted the bill, calling it misguided.
The recent efforts in Arizona, which threaten to undermine basic notions of fairness that we cherish as Americans.
The governor insists citizens have no reason to fear.
I will not tolerate racial discrimination or racial profiling in Arizona.
And there were a handful of people on the streets who agreed with her. But already critics are gearing up to fight the bill, calling it unconstitutional and creating a state of fear.
Well, it certainly resonates of a let me see your papers environment.
For Good Morning America, Mike Von Frem, ABC News, Phoenix.
And among those opposed to this new law on constitutional and ethical grounds is the mayor of Phoenix, a Democrat, Phil Gordon, who joins us from there. Mr. Mayor, thanks for being with us. As you know, this law is set to take effect in August. What are you prepared to do to try to stop it?
I asked in the city council on Tuesday to authorize the city attorney to file a lawsuit to enjoin the law so that it doesn't go into effect until the courts can review it. And I'm positive it's unconstitutional on its face.
But if this is still hung up in a lawsuit in some form in August, what will you tell your police chief, who is essentially under orders to enforce this?
Well, number one, the chief and I agree that we're not sure how to enforce it. If we enforce it, we get sued on civil rights violations. If we don't, then we get sued by anyone in the state, which is allowed under the law, plus penalties and legal fees. So we're hoping the courts will enjoin it to at least interpret it and hold it in abeyance. If not, we will do our best to follow the law. We still have to follow the law, even though it's unjust and it's just hateful and spiteful, and is going to make the state and the city much less safe than safe.
Well, Governor Brewer obviously would disagree, and the supporters of this, they'll point to the fact that a rancher was murdered near the border by a suspected smuggler just last month, and there are some 460,000 illegal immigrants in your state. So what's your fix?
Well, number one, we all want a stronger border. We want the federal government to do their job and secure the border. We want a revised, comprehensive immigration reform policy that allows legal people that are law-abiding to work here, to go for a path of citizenship if they want. The problem now, the system is so broken that all we're doing is now making it more lucrative for the smugglers and the people that bring drugs into our country and our community.
So what's your fix?
To make it less safe. Fix is to actually, number one, to get more resources on the border. I've testified in Congress, support our DEA and ATF and Border Patrol, get more resources to our department that goes after the smuggling rings nationwide as well as here.
And what do you do with all those that are already in Arizona?
Well, there's 500,000 in Arizona, 12 million throughout the U.S. That it's not realistic, especially since the vast majority have just been here for decades even, to try to ship them out. Let's work on a work guest program where people register, they learn the language, they pay the fee, and allow them to contribute to our economy. The last thing we want now is an economic crisis. Arizona now is being threatened with boycotts. People then will that have been here fighting for this country are fearful for their loved ones. You know, this is shifting the burden of proof, not just for those that aren't documented, but anyone. So what does a senior that doesn't drive do? How do they prove without a driver's license? How does a 15-year-old child?
Right.
People coming for your state. Even Mayor Bloomberg, who's entered this and supported me, which I'm grateful for.
Okay, Mayor Phil Gordon, we do appreciate your time. Thanks for being
Thank
with
you.
us once again.